Alright, y'all, we're back with some more Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, and I wanted to make a discussion video following up on the community reaction to the Season 3 reveals. Now, if you guys don't know, we actually got official confirmation that Super Vegito, Super Saiyan Bardock, and Super Saiyan 2 Kefla are all coming for Season 3 of Squadra. In fact, Super Vegito is actually the first character releasing on the 13th of January. Then what they usually do is like 2 weeks later, they release the second character, which would be Bardock. So either the 27th or the 3rd, we'll see Bardock. Then about like the 17th or 24th, one of these 2 days, we'll see Kefla. Again, my personal guess is the 13th, 27th, and the 17th. But there's no official confirmation on that just yet. We just need to wait and see once these characters are actually, in game. Now, a lot of people I've seen are worried about certain things in relation to Super Vegito dropping now, which I would say is not valid. I didn't expect Super Vegito to drop right here for Season 3. I think a lot of people were thinking like, oh, Super Vegito would be like some anniversary character or for something that they would say is more special, or maybe, they would have dropped him where Broly dropped. We see Broly came out for New Year's, basically, right? He came out what, the 23rd, and then the New Year's kind of drop. We did have the New Year's event where Broly had like a New Year's outfit. He very clearly to me seemed like the Christmas New Year's drop character. And then they're dropping Super Vegito now, which is not necessarily like a New Year celebration. This is like the celebration right after that. So, or I say celebration, but like this is the season right after that big drop for Broly. And they're bringing out Super Vegito here. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Now what I would say is that I was saying myself, I think the game has improved in a lot of different aspects. And the player base, of course, has been at a lower number than it was like during Season 1. Like, of course, there's a lot of issues with the game when it launched that I think they did go ahead and adjust. I mean, I might make a video talking about that as well, but they adjusted a lot of things with the Star Collection. They made the Star Collection a lot easier. They're giving out tons of Zenny. In fact, I could literally open the game right now. And let me actually bring this over here. But if I open the game, I'll mute this. I want to show you guys that if you haven't seen this, they do give out like 1,000, 2,000 Zenny like every single day in the daily shop now. You know that one spot that, was guaranteed to be a certain thing? They changed this first spot now. For example, I have 1,000 Zenny for free. Sometimes you can get 2,000 Zenny. Sometimes I've seen some people get 5,000 and even 10,000 Zenny. 10,000 is of course very rare, but you get a ton of Zenny for free right here. And along with that, in Star Collection, there was a big issue where there was a tier 3 that wasn't that would, like, you would have to go from level 31 all the way to, what is it, 109, right? Or 100, yeah, rank 31 to rank 109 in Star Collection. Between that, there was no other star level 1 characters, but they added one between that at 75. And even if you went past 75 already, they unlocked it for you again. To see, I haven't even selected it, but I can go ahead and unlock a character. When Super Vegito comes out next Tuesday, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly will be available for free in this hero unlock right here. So that's just a lot of exciting things. They are adding missions where you can get characters for free. Like, for example, one time we had the Gammas here, which were, a higher tier character, and they're really good. We have Cal here, who's a decent option, right? They're doing like a lot of good changes to the game, and they are planning to make a couple other changes. There's things coming for Season 3 that, again, will probably be its own video, but I just wanted to preface this where it's like, okay, I could see why they might be dropping a character like this now to try and bring players back now that they fixed a lot of the issues I think people had early on. The game doesn't really crash. Like, obviously games will crash once in a while, but it's not like, oh, every game there's a queuing issue. The only issue is that sometimes when a season drop happens, the game has issues with queuing. I don't know if that's because there's so many people on the game, or, there's just like some small issue with it. But this time it seems like, what's it called? I think that it'll be hopefully good with Super Vegito. They should anticipate how many people are coming on for Super Vegito. I mean, there's definitely a lot of buzz for a Super Vegito character to drop, right? Then Super Saiyan Bardock and Kefla are really good, but most of the talk right now is because of Super Vegito, of course, just because this guy comes out the 13th. But I think Bardock is a really good choice. Honestly, Bardock is a character that a lot of people have been looking forward to. Shout out to Bebop. Bebop, my boy, has been looking forward to Bardock for a very long time. Then Kefla is a character where, you know, I've seen a lot of people say that there's lack of like girls representation in the game, and hey, we have Kefla now, so that's really good. I think that's a very valid point. Getting more girls in the game is very cool. So 2 damage rolls in a tank. Let's see what people are thinking. I have a YouTube post. I have people talking about Super Vegito's kit, and I'll get to another point if someone brings it up, but I'm sure someone will. Let's hop right into it. So any quote tweets here? You want Vegito to be good, but as you said a bajillion times, do not balance this on power creep and a somewhat forced feeling of having to buy the new characters because they either cancel the meta or are the meta. Luckily, he has no anti-CC. Yeah, that is one thing about Vegito. I think Vegito's kit looks good, and again, we'll look at what people are saying about him. But he doesn't have any anti-CC, so you know, a character like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in bottom lane could like kind of make a right play and counter Vegito, or Ultimate Gohan could be a potentially really good pick against this Vegito since he's able to move him around, right? And for example, those 2 characters are free, so you could have free characters that are a counter alternative to the brand new paid character, even though that might be really good. And that's the thing with Gekishin. I think that, you know, as more characters release, there'll be more counter picks to other characters, things like that. You think they're good picks as a whole, but they seem like a corporate mandated action. I mean, yeah. Like, again, no one expected Super Vegito here, so I would not be surprised if, again, I saw a tweet that that Andre made it. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys might know Dondre, might not know Dondre. Huge Frieza fan. Let's take a look here. That's my oomph, that's my go. Let me find it. This one. They're picking these characters like Big Bandit, just throwing EOS. I mean, I don't know. But yeah. You're shocked on Vegito, but happy for Bardock. You can't wait for him. Yeah, no, I think Bardock is a character, again, people really want to. I'll probably have this image up on the side. I think Bardock could be really interesting. Another tank option is what I really expected for the game, because of the fact that, you know, when it comes to tanks, we had, how many technicals was that? 8 technicals in total in the game. And then we had only 7 tanks, right? Or yeah, 7 tanks and then 8 technicals. I think it's good that technicals in a good spot. Maybe a few adjustments here for the season 3 drop. Then, you know, of course, for tank characters, I think we need 1 extra tank. Ideally, you know, funny enough, Baby's actually in a pretty good spot right now. Baby might actually be a really good partner for Super Vegito, just like he is for the Gammas and Broly. So Baby's actually like slowly rising up in the tier list because of the existence of Broly, but also because of the existence of Super Vegito now. I think Baby might actually be a pretty good option for Vegito, because Vegito is a character that could just kind of like solo lane potentially. So Baby could be really good for there. And you know, maybe give Zamasu, Vegeta buff, even like these 4, give them like slight buffs. I would, maybe Vegeta needs the most. Then Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, give him another nerf. And tank actually with a Bardock like balanced release could be really good. Because again, Broly was a balanced release. I think Gotenks was a balanced release. I think God Topo was a little underwhelming, but I would say he's closer to, of course, balanced than broken, or even just like being necessarily like a bad option. Ultimate Gohan and Vegeta were kind of like, I don't know what they were thinking there. I think Vegeta will not be like, I call him broken. He could be broken for sure. I think that based on what his kit has, he doesn't necessarily have boss secure, but I think that he's going to be able to do so much within the match. And he has just like, he has like the fact that like he has that combo where he's like old skills and then old again is kind of silly. And I think he'll be again very like, you know, damage focused, like pushing the enemy really hard. At the same time, you know, there definitely are counters to this guy, and again, as we get more and more characters in the game, like I said, there will be less of the possibility of characters being, you know, oh, even though the Super Vegeta might be the best DPS, he's not going to be a character that you can't play well against and beat, right? Is what I'm saying. But yeah, Again, Bardock, really cool. I think that definitely getting another tank here is nice, for sure. Vegito looks beautiful. Loving that Gogeta is being saved as the major fusion. Bardock doesn't look like a tank and his animations look a bit disappointing. Kefla looks sick. I mean, we only saw a little snippet of Bardock's animations, like, just like with Vegito. Obviously Vegito's animations are probably going to be the best, the most, like, kind of effort put into there. And Vegito even has the Dokkan reference, which is really funny. With the sword Excalibur, with the kind of X shape in the sword, like that he hits down on the enemies. That's really cool. That sword Excalibur is really, really sick. Kefla looks sick. Gogeta's being saved. Okay. Look, I mean, we don't know when they're gonna drop Gogeta. It would be really funny if, like, season 4, they're like, yeah, here's Super Gogeta and Janemba. And it's like at the rate that they're dropping characters like this, would I be surprised if they're like, yeah, here's Super Gogeta and Janemba? Like, honestly, next season, Janemba would be really sick, and we'll talk about that. But I think people are talking about wanting more villains. What the fuck do you think my thoughts are? Yeah, Alexander the Vegito King, bro, you are eating. I could open your profile and I guarantee you I'm gonna see, like, if I don't want to open your, like, actually let me look on the side. What is your media chat looking like here? Yeah, I could show this here. I mean, we could see, no, actually it won't show it. Where is, yeah, look at this. Yeah. Okay. You're ready for Vegito. You're ready for Vegito. Do you have the capsules, man? I hope you have the capsules to summon on his intros and stuff like that. Dropping Bardock alongside two fusions is weird. I mean, who else would they drop though? Like, I think, in my opinion, I think the thing about Kefla, I guess we'll talk about this now. Kefla probably should have been another villain. Like, it's weird to call Kefla a villain because she's not really a villain, but these games do consider Kefla as a bad guy, right? She is an antagonist of Dragon Ball Super. They consider her like one of the big bad threats in the Tournament of Power, which is fair. You know, she fought UI Goku. Goresh made a good point here. I will still say, you know, the one major problem he has for Squadra is at the end of Season 3 will be 6 months out from the beginning of Season 1, and we'll have one new villain release, Broly, outside the base character roster. Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us don't actually consider Toppo and Kefla to be like an actual villain. And, you know, even the game, sometimes like Dokkan, let's and take that for example. Like Toppo and Kefla are like, you know, like super bosses as a team, right? Like the big bosses of Dragon Ball Super, like the bad guys, but they're still like considered a super like good guy character rather than an extreme class character, because they're not necessarily an evil character. They're fighting to save their universe. But I think getting a character like Janemba, Final Form Frieza, Buuhan, Kid Buu, Omega Shenron, Baby, that is like, you know, actually like, you know, just super baby too. That would be awesome. And if they drop like Jiren next season, that would be annoying, honestly. Like, I think we need a real villain, like, not to say like, I mean, that's kind of it. We need a real villain, man. We do. So yeah, Bardock I think is a fine drop. People have been asking for Bardock for sure, and Bardock's a very exciting character, but like, it's like 3 Super Saiyans still. It's not like, you know, Janemba. I think Janemba is going to be a sick drop in this game, honestly. Janemba in this game is going to be amazing, dude. I'm not even like a Janemba fan like that, but I just know Janemba in this game is going to be crazy. They went too far, but it was needed. The game is good, but not very popular. Then dropping a crazy season like this will make them good money, which is what they want. I mean, I would say what this game really needs is the intention brought to it. Because like I said, they have fixed a bit of issues with the game that people had when it first dropped. So dropping Super Vegito is going to bring a lot of attention to it. Excuse me, that might be what they need. Because like God Topo, for example, wasn't really a popular drop either. Dokkan, take notes. Bardock is the only W because the game needs more tanks. Other than that, we're heading straight up to the most cancerous meta of all time because of those divine draws. Problems regarding the game system were not addressed well. So the thing is that in these Squadra talks, they don't talk about the game systems. They talk of like necessarily like any of the, you know, other characters being balanced. They don't talk about any of the adjustments to like the actual gameplay besides the divine draws. And, you know, we see that they announced the new Gekishin boss, which the Gekishin boss, looks like he might be actually healthy for the game, and especially if they remove that movement speed up boost, or at least like majorly nerf it. They just have to change it to literally anything else. And like even if it was like a defense boost, or like, you know, you do extra more damage, rather than like I don't know, because I would say like maybe like a slight cooldown reduction on Vanish, but that divine draw, like the divine draws, I would agree, pretty stupid. But honestly, I would not like assume that it's mid, because they don't talk about like that. For example, we didn't know about the changes to, if we take a look here, season 2.1, I believe, right? No, season 2. Would it be season 2.0? Yeah, season 2 patch notes. We had no idea about any of these buffs when season 2 was dropping. We had no idea about the changes to divine combo cards. We had no idea about the changes to the helpers. We had no idea about all the nerfs here. They did not say that anything like that at all. We had no idea about the Gekishin burst change. The HP for the God of Destructions were increased as well. All these bug fixes. They added the divine combo card preset function. They increased the hero memories you got, and now like you actually get a good amount of hero memories. Like they've changed a lot of things that are good that they didn't tell us in Squadron Talk. So I would wait until the patch notes dropped, and then we could really talk about the season there. Absolute Cinema, you had high hopes for the season reveal, but they blew your expectations out the water. Super Saiyan Bardock and Kefla were already top tier picks, but Vegito on top, now that's just disgusting. You're just so hyped for the next season. Not enough Yamcha, and why is Bardock a Super Saiyan? I mean, they were gonna sell Super Saiyan Bardock. I feel like I would say if they were gonna drop a Bardock, they probably would make him Super Saiyan Bardock. Just cause, I mean, I feel like Super Saiyan Bardock is just like a staple in these games now. Besides Sparking Zero. That's really it. That's really it. Let's take a look at some of the YouTube comments here. Let's see what people are saying for Super Vegito on the YouTube side. If anything, you're surprised they're using them early. It kind of makes you worry about the game long term. And yeah, this is what I like, the sentiment I've been seeing from people is, I mean, let's take a look at the replies. You're thinking the same thing since two other characters are pretty hype. You thought Vegito would be for first anniversary, but I guess it's going to be Blue Vegito. I guess we'll even guess we get Gogeta within the next couple seasons. It's a mobile game, not a gacha. There's no point in saving a character for a special occasion since you could obtain the characters by buying. And then, yeah, I would say not true. The characters are the content for this game, so saving hype content to bring players back and bring new ones in is quite, it's quite nomad business practice. I would say they probably want more players because, I mean, my experience playing the game is a lot of times I queue up against the same people multiple times in the day. And I feel like, you know, that just shows there's not that many people on the game. Like compared to what they probably would, what everyone would want, right? So a character like Super Vegito, when they fix those issues, I don't want to keep repeating the same kind of point that I made, but I think you guys understand me. Another thing is that, like, again, yeah, exactly. Where they're introduced character now their leader doesn't make much of a difference. This is a competitive MOBA. The characters aren't going anywhere, will be available for players to use for the entirety of the game's existence, and will receive /bursts through patches like Fighters. The game averages sub 1.5k players on Steam. It's already 1 foot in the grave due to terrible balancing practice from Super Saiyan 1 or Season 1. I won't save a MOBA. I would say, I mean, maybe it's a little different for Dragon Ball there, but yeah, Super Saiyan 3 Goku was very funny on release for sure. And I think the game is in a better state in terms of balancing, especially for like damage roll. Technical, we just need that Ultimate Gohan nerf tank. If they do what we said, the game will again be in a good spot. It's not difficult to get the game into a good spot, but for some reason they balanced the game on B rank, C rank matches, which I truly don't understand why. Because realistically, those players will be fine no matter what. I think so. I don't know, that's just me. I would say the only issue is, like, you know, after this Super Vegito, they're not dropping another Super Vegito. This is the Super Vegito for this game. Like, there's not going to be any other Super Vegito unless they like have like, unless Vegito fuses again and goes Super Saiyan in another kind of I don't know, like movie or something, we won't see Super Vegeta. Well, it's like, for example, we could, with Gogeta, there's a lot of other forms. There's like Super Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Unless this game goes into like what if characters and forms like a Super Saiyan God Vegito, this game is probably the closest to being able to do something like that because of the costumes and stuff like that. But it would be, imagine if this game is like, yeah, here's a Super Saiyan God Vegito in the future. That would be crazy. I'm not gonna expect that, obviously, but other Dragon Ball games have done other what ifs, so who knows. He's cool, but Bardock is what you're hyped for. Level 100 Vegito versus level 1 Deborah. I mean, to be fair, like any character against Deborah looks really good. You don't feel anything anymore. I'm sorry, Luke. That's very sad. Hope you do better. Or feel better. I don't know. He's being released too soon. People tend to forget this, but this is not a gotcha. Once variation of a character is released, they cannot be released again. You feel like Vegito is just a stronger rehash of Broly's concepts. Yeah, I would say this makes sense. With Vegito being like a stronger kind of version of Bardock or Broly. The reason why I said Bardock is because they said this. You're more hyped for Bardock more than anything else. At least we can get some tank variety. Something we really needed for the tech role as well, seeing as most matches were monopolized by Ultimate Gohan. I would say tech is still in a better spot than tank was. Even though Ultimate Gohan is, I would argue Ultimate Gohan is probably still like best character in the game. I think that makes a lot of sense, even like after the nerfs. So give Ultimate Gohan just like a technical character does not need to be doing the damage Ultimate Gohan does. So they adjust that, and then Kid Gohan hits, maybe buff Gotenks. I don't know why they nerfed Gotenks. It was very silly. Like characters like that could shine more often. Frieza, first one Frieza will inherently look better. So is Majin Buu, with Ultimate Gohan being worse, right? Because Frieza's minions can be like kind of tossed around by Ultimate Gohan. Gohan's stun can interrupt Boo's healing, so that's really annoying. Bardock and T-Fusion's EOS is coming. I wouldn't necessarily say that. They still have so many things to drop. So many things to drop. Vegito's not hyped like Gogeta, so you don't mind him coming early. This guy is always in my... I see you. I know. I see you all the time. Always hyping up Gogeta. All the time, brother. Always downplaying Vegito for no reason. Both of them are cool. You could acknowledge that both of them are cool whilst liking Gogeta. I mean, it's your opinion, but oh my goodness, the hater energy I see from you is crazy, man. Also, the Gogeta glaze is insane. This guy is always, I swear, the Gogeta glaze from you is different, bro. Bardock is so hype. He's a tank just like you wanted. Yeah, everyone wanted tank Bardock. I agree with you there. Everyone wanted a tank Bardock, dude, and they gave it to us. Your first thought when you saw it was already like Vegito's like an anniversary worthy character. Yeah, you're really happy that Bardock will be coming. It's funny, like a lot of the like no one's mentioned Kefla. No one's talked about Kefla. Is that not so funny? And I think that's in a way where, again, it's not like Kefla is like not an exciting character. I think Kefla is cool. I just think that people didn't want Kefla here. People wanted like a chin up. I think if they dropped Buhan here, like imagine with Super Vegito, Bardock, and Buhan, that I think people would be talking about Buhan, because Kefla is not like I don't know. She's more of a like antagonist than a villain. Buhan's like a fucked up guy, bro. Boo is a fucked up guy, right? But yeah. So fast, you guess they needed a big character. Oh, also Kefla's just like another Super Saiyan. They needed a big character to help the game because different niche type of game to play or attract players. So we'll see how the future holds. Yeah. We'll look at this here. Then what? Okay. Whew. We'll look at this. Then we'll actually look at these replies and we'll kind of end from there. Because this is talking about the kind of balance for him. To be real, you feel like they're not making cool mechanics for newer characters sometimes. Like literally Broly was just that he could use moves to reset himself with another move and then go burr. Vegito is just reducing cooldowns. His ult is being a support ult that resets and allow him to loop. Basically just make him go burr. Yeah, but to be fair, like these two would be characters that would be characters I don't know how to explain it. These two would be the characters that would just go burr, right? Like, it's like, let's click buttons. You know, like that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you could have a cool counter mechanic that builds up when he kicks you. Yeah, I would say, like, you know, like, but that seems more like a tank thing. Like, you know, maybe he gets, well, I guess Topa has it. Or like a mode where he could start using spirit swords. Like, he could do anything and it's a mobile format. Yeah, I think what would have been really cool is instead his ult, maybe it's not necessarily an attack, but he gets his spirit swords as part of his, like, well, it's just, maybe I wouldn't like that, because the thing about that is, like, I was gonna say, like, part of his rush attacks is that burst damage is gonna be inherently better in this game than rush attack damage, right? You know, just how the game is. And Vegito being reliant on rush attacks like that wouldn't be good, really. But Vegito being able to just spam, unload all of the skills on you, and then his ultimate, and then more skills, yeah. Even if Vegito gets all this stuff from group targets, Broly splashes a lot of damage to group targets. Even if the code pay is different, the model is the same. You want to see some unique stuff with every character. You don't want a character to feel too similar. I would say I agree, though. Like, I feel like maybe Vegito should have been a character more like Piccolo, in a sense, where he's a boss secure character. Because there's really two types of DPSs in my mind. There's the bottom lane kind of brawler character, and then there's the top lane kind of potential boss secure. For example, like Super Saiyan Goku, Piccolo, even Trunks. Like those characters, I feel like, you know, are like top lane characters. Trunks actually is pretty decent at boss secure, but like these two are like the kings of boss secure, right? Characters like that go top lane. Well, as a character, I feel like the Gammas, Broly, Bojack, even Mini Goku, like are like bottom lane type of characters with a lot of help, or like health, very tanky, things like that. And I would say Vegito fits back into this mold exactly where, well, not mold, but like fits into the role that Broly does. And releasing the back-to-back, I don't know. I think maybe Vegito's ultimate could have been like the Sword Excalibur. Maybe it should just be a secure move for bosses, just like these two have that. Like Goku's Spirit Bomb, and then Piccolo's kind of ability as well with the special from Ganon. Vegito doesn't seem like he'll have that, right? If they actually keep doing this, it might feel like slop to you. Sorry, I'm like coughing a little, my bad, chat. Then there's actually like Ultimate Gohan, despite have a lot going for him, doesn't seem to have an actual theme. He has studs, movement manipulation, and that fear thing. They could have just chosen one for him, but he has a whole gadget of belts up his sleeve. Yeah, that could have been saved for future characters. I agree. Ultimate Gohan is a very silly character. Like, they could have made Broly that was a tank with fear, since he even ran away from him with a lot of the moves. Vegeta plays like a tech with some of his moves as the health stat alone that keeps him as a tank. Gohan might have made for an interesting DPS with high cooldowns, big move manipulation plays, and conditional damage. Sorry for the app, you just feel like they could do more and they don't, since there's characters had so much variety to them and their kits have a lot of themes. Nowadays, it just feels like a character is very press buttons or has an arsenal of very tech. You hope someone else talks about this. You want to have cool playstyles along with your cool characters. I think, see, it makes sense, but I still would say, like, you know, we take a look at Broly's kit, and then in comparison to Vegito's kit, it is similar. What could they really do to make things different? I guess one thing that Vegito probably has that's different than Broly is the skill 2 dash. That seems really interesting. Vegito does have movement speed down, which we'll see how strong that movement speed down effect could be. Vegito feels, I wouldn't necessarily say Broly's like a, Broly can't range out characters, but ideally, Broly's like in your face, whereas I feel like Vegito can kind of like zone you out a bit more. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. Like, we could say these things about like how the characters look, but it could look a lot different in game when we see how much damage Vegito does, when we see what his cooldowns are, when we see a bunch of different things, right? But yeah, based on what we know, I also would agree that Broly is similar to, you know, Vegito, right? And dropping them back to back like this is, again, really interesting. Or maybe that even like I don't know. It's, these are like points, like this is a point that I can't just be like, oh no, I disagree with. Like I actually agree with some of these things. He looks cool a bit, bleh, I can't talk. Getting to the end of the video, huh? I'll be a bit early. You wish you didn't get 2 DPS this season and got its tech. You rather have Bardock, Kefla, then attack and save Vegito for season 4. I think that we did need more DPS. Hopefully Kefla is a boss secure character. Kefla being boss secure would be really useful, but I think that maybe at that point, Vegito should have been boss secure, and then Kefla should have been the brawler. That's my opinion. It would especially just like help space things out a little more, but who knows? Let's see what people are thinking about Vegito's kit here, and we'll kind of end things. So he needs to be overtuned. I know Annie made a tweet talking about how Broly doesn't necessarily fit, or how do I explain it? Vegito, let's read this. My thoughts on Vegito's kit, completely disregarding the hype. He looks like a level 4 cheese character for lane and extremely selfish. He has no form of boss secure and no CC outside of slow. If he's not overtuned, you're worried for him in proper play, but he's Vegito, so we'll play him. He has nothing that makes a DPS top tier in this game. You're not being a doomer just commenting on his kit. He's going to be a solo queue demon where people don't focus boss and fight instead. He's probably insanely fun. I would say he might be really good at targeting, like the potential, like in fact this comment saying it. His role is going to be targeting the enemy boss killers like Super Saiyan Goku and Piccolo. I mean, he could probably be really good for that as well. I would agree. The thing about the Gammas versus Vegito that, for example, the Gammas have is that they have like the stun in their kit. Well, it's like Broly doesn't have that. Like I would say Gammas versus Broly, I'm taking Gammas. So like it could be this same thing with the Gammas versus Vegito, but I need to see him in game. I think Vegito has that potential though. There's also the idea that they buff him last second. I think I made a tweet talking about this. I'll keep bringing up so many things that I should have had brought up. That's another video that we'll do later. But where is it? That's the code. Dude, I tweet so many times. This right here. They can last minute adjust him. Just like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Ultimate Gohan. Which Vegeta and Ultimate Gohan, like Vegeta looks like his stun was increased. Ultimate Gohan, they told creators in the creator program that they were buffing him. And they did. So Vegito could get a last minute adjustment. We'll see. I mean, he also does have the XP loss. That's going to be really interesting. Vegito's XP loss. Because he gets less XP, but his transformation will guarantee him an extra level. He looks stupid, but that's to be expected of a fusion in a game Toshi works on. Game is not lasting 2 years. Game is not lasting 2 years, if not less. I mean, I think people are doom posting, but I don't agree. The game's pretty fun. Kind of funny they said he has a unique playstyle when he just uses his abilities at a group of people like every damage character. Yeah, but pretty hype. Might just wait those 2 weeks and get it for free through Star Collection. I mean, you could. Looking wistfully at Broly's passive, what we could have had. Quit the game, guys. Cell got buffed. Hey, if Cell gets buffed, that's going to be awesome. He doesn't look that broken, honestly. No debuffs, no defense up. He does not have defense up. That's true. Well, it's like, you know, Broly at least has strike defense up. You know, that's something I didn't think about. Because at the same time, though, the Gammas are very tanky. I opened the Open accident. The Gammas are very tanky, but they don't have defense up either, right? I mean, we take a look here. They get a lot of health is what they have. We see they have striker resistance and energy resistance. Like sustained damage is high for them, but they're quite tanky. They don't get defense up at all. They get the extra health with skill 2. We'll see how common Vegito's extra health could be, but if it is like you could activate it very commonly, which based on his passive, I feel like it might be the case. He could end up still being very tanky, even without any defense up on his, you know, ability. No debuffs though. Like again, no CC besides the movement speed down. Like if he had, you know, what they could have given him, and what maybe they will give that to him. His ultimate. Imagine it had a stagger on activation. That would kind of like change the tune for him. Like give him a stagger, and then he's like looking really, really crazy. This is a League of Legends character, right? He will have the same secret buff as Yasuo. I don't play League, unfortunately, so I'm gonna trust your opinion on this, whether that's good or bad. Feels like they added the Vanish Step cooldown draw specifically for fighting against him. Maybe. You know that your girl's going to be getting slanderous allegations in the coming weeks, but you'd love to see a king doing well. I mean, in terms of like, you know, I hate this character! Maybe. Team Fight Demon, it's super. Buff Bojack more. I mean, sure, they can maybe give him another one, but I think Bojack's pretty good. We'll see. I'm really interested to kind of see his numbers and like how fast he is in game and how much health he actually has, how his passive interacts, things like that. I mean, this is a character I definitely need to play test to truly know how good he is. But to me, I think he looks quite good. Anyways, thanks y'all for watching, and I guess I'll just catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.